Hello everyone, Osked here, and welcome back to another video on the ScopeCam SE. Last time I walked you through getting started with the RunCam ScopeCam SE, but today we're taking it a step further. In this video, I'll show you exactly what to do once you're back from the game day. I'll break down my entire post-production process. You'll see how I turn raw ScopeCam footage into a polished cinematic clip that seamlessly fits into your gameplay videos, making them even more engaging. Let's dive in. Also, I'll be skipping over most of the basic details about the ScopeCam's operation since I've already covered them in a dedicated video. You can check them out by clicking the card in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Alright, so now that you're home from your game day, what you're going to do is you're now going to take out the SD card from the ScopeCam and put it into your computer. And once you do that, you'll see this pop up right here. You're going to see all the files that you recorded that day. Except now this is something weird here. Here where it says SCSE, this is the ScopeCam SE, but this is like the original file right here. These files are the full resolution, full quality files, like the regular files that you were expecting. Except the weird part is the ScopeCam also records these extra files which are labeled S, which are small. So as you see, if I pull up one of these videos here, like the original quality videos, you see, this is how it looks. This is me shooting out of a doorway here. This is an unreleased video.
There's a guy on the ground as well.
So there's me shooting, right? And then if I go to the same one, see, it's labeled the same thing except just says S before. So the S, I guess, I'm assuming means small. And you see, the quality is absolutely awful. I don't know why these files exist. I'm assuming it's for the app, when you're on the ScopeCam app, just to show a preview. That's my guess. But anyway, you're going to see those two. Basically, just ignore all the files with S. You can even delete them. You really don't need them. So just make sure to copy over into your editing software all of the files that say M. Now that that's out of the way, what you're going to do is you're going to import your files into your editing software of choice, which for me is Premiere Pro. Alright, so now what you're going to do is you're just going to drag and drop your files into here. So as you see, this is actually a previous video that is already out, actually. This is the video where the referee stops the game, as you see. So here, you can see the ref actually stops the game. Anyway, that's besides the point. Be sure to check out this video on my YouTube channel. It's actually my most popular video. Be sure to check it out. Once you've drag and dropped these files in here, what you're going to do is then you're going to edit the video. I'm not going to go over how to edit the video here, but as you see, this is the fully edited timeline here. So these clips are all the GoPro clips, these clips at the bottom here, like in the middle, sorry. And then here at the top are all of the ScopeCam clips. So you see, they're actually very few and far between. There's not that many of them. But you see, if you watch a little bit here, right, so that's just a sample. If you haven't watched my videos previously, be sure to check out my other videos to see the final result of how I edit all of my ScopeCam footage and my videos in general. You're going to edit your video. Don't worry about any sort of post-production stuff right now in terms of editing. Just right now, put the clips on the timeline, chop everything down, and then we'll worry about color correction, all that mumbo jumbo, which I'll get into right now. So once you actually chopped your video down, like how it looks like right here, then we can actually start getting into it. So the first thing that you're going to do is to sync the videos with the GoPro, right? Because having these videos by themselves is not really useful without them being synced to the GoPro. So what you're going to do is you're going to take, let's just say it's like somewhere like this. You're like, oh my gosh, what is going on? You're going to select both the ScopeCam and the GoPro. So on Windows and Premiere Pro, you're going to click on one of the clips, then hold Shift and click on the other clip. Then you're going to right click, and you're going to click Synchronize. Alright, so unfortunately it's not letting me synchronize for some bizarre reason. This is the first time this is happening, but anyway, you're going to select both of your clips, and you're going to press Synchronize, and you're going to select Audio. You want to synchronize using the audio, and then it's going to synchronize them, just like that, and then it's going to be synced, and then we can actually start editing from there. So now the first thing that you want to do is do the lumetri color. So as you see, if I go to the effect controls here, if I go to here, lumetri color, and I toggle it off, you see, it makes the footage look way more bland. Honestly though, the footage straight out of the camera, out of the ScopeCam, is actually pretty good. So I just have to do some minor tweaks here and there. Let's just go to the color window here. And as you see, make sure your ScopeCam clip is selected. See, these are just some basic adjustments that I've made. Nothing crazy. Increase the contrast. I might have to increase the brightness, sorry, the exposure a little bit, depending on the situation. The highlights, shadows. See, and now if I toggle it on and off, just change it there. See, it was a little bit too green. So I made it a little bit more magenta. But apart from that, again, it's very basic adjustments. See, if I actually go over here to a different one, see that? Just make it pop a little bit more. Nothing crazy. Some of the other clips, you can barely even tell that I made any adjustments. Like this one, you can't even tell it did anything because you see how minor they are. Because like it already looks good, so there's no reason to change it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let's move on to the next thing, which is warp stabilizer. So the footage will come out just a little bit shaky because the camera doesn't have any sort of built-in stabilization. But that's okay because the footage just needs a little bit of tweaking. So we're just going to go here and we're going to click effects. And then we're just going to search for warp. And you see right here, warp stabilizer. What you're going to do is you're going to drag and drop that onto your clip. And it's going to say analyzing in background. And you can actually see what it's doing in the effect controls right here. Right here. This is the one I already applied before, so don't look at that. But see, now it's going to be analyzing the frames. And here are some of the settings you can change. I don't need that right now because I already did it. But as you see here, this is what I did before. It says I need to click analyze. That's just a bug in Adobe. I already analyzed it. It's already finished. This is approximately where I usually put it, 2%. Warp stabilizer is quite sensitive in terms of the percentage. So a low percentage will do a lot. So as you see, if I disable warp stabilizer, as you see, the footage gets uncropped a little bit. So you see how it's just a little bit like kind of very shaky, like lots of these jittery movements. I mean, you could like that as like an intense moment, but generally it's a bit much for the audience. So I like to put just a little bit. Again, I like to keep a little bit of the shakiness just to make it real, but just get rid of that jitteriness. So as you see now, see, it's still shaky obviously because it's real life, right? But you see, it is not jittery, which doesn't make it annoying to watch. And just make sure to apply that to all the clips. Just kind of drag and drop them to all the clips. Just make sure it's at 2%. And if you need, you can actually go into advanced and adjust this right here as well. Usually I don't touch this though, unless I'm trying to go very in depth. All right, so now to move on to the hardest part of the post-processing for the scope cam, which is the scope overlay. So as you see here, this overlay is fully custom made by me. You can actually go online and find custom made ones and just drop it in and you're done. But I prefer to have mine custom made because I can control what is on my screen. Because the other ones were pretty low quality and pretty crappy, if I have to be honest. Unless you want to pay like money. But I didn't want to do that, so I did it myself. Because I do have some Photoshop experience, so I did it myself. But I'll show you how to do it right now. So all I did was I just took a picture of my gun with my phone and make sure it's zoomed in. Make sure it's focused onto the actual scope itself right here. The background doesn't matter because we're going to be chopping all of it out. And actually, as you see, yes, my scope is cracked, but I see through it just fine. So don't worry about that. Again, it's going to be completely gone in the final edit. So just take a picture and then shove it into Photoshop. So all I did here, I just took it right here. You can see the thing. I just chopped it out. So what you can do is just make a layer mask. I don't make this a Photoshop tutorial. You can search this up on your own. Basically, you can search up how to cut something out using a layer mask. It's pretty simple. You're just going to click this button right here, layer mask, and then you're going to use the brush tool and then just paint out whatever you don't want. And that's it. It's literally that simple. And you can make sure to be pretty precise with it. As you see here, I was pretty precise with it. I was zooming in at least this far to try to get all this. It's not perfect, right? It doesn't need to be perfect because at the end of the day, we're going to be blurring it. So just make sure you have no weird color fringing or anything like that on the edges. So from there, what we're going to do now is we're going to add this red dot because you see on the picture, there's no dot there. That's because if you have it on, it's not going to work. It's not going to be shown very well anyway. So what I did, I just searched up like red dot on the internet and I got it right here. See that? Red dot. This is the original. I just got this from Google. Pretty simple. But then it was a bit too harsh. It wasn't actually blurred enough. So what I did, I just blurred it more. And that's it. See, I just made it a little more blurry. Right there. See, it's nothing crazy. So don't worry about that too much. Anyway, so I just chopped it out. And then what I did from there, I just took all of these. So you see here it says rifle copy. Is I just took that and then blurred it. I just blurred the entire thing to make it realistic. Because in real life, what you're going to do is you're going to focus your eye onto the background. That's why it makes it more realistic. See, if I go back to the video, it's blurred. If this was not blurred, I tried, it looks really weird. So make sure to blur it. You don't have to blur it in Photoshop. What you can do is just get the unblurred version and just blur it here. Just go into the effects and just search for Gaussian blur, drag it on and just increase the blur until it looks about right. And you could do it that way as well. But I just did it in Photoshop just so I just have the file ready to go. And in fact, I also did the same thing for my SMG. My SMG in this case is my SSP18 in the Carbine kit, which I also have HP8, which I also made a video on, so be sure to check that out in the top right hand corner. Lots of plugs in this video. Anyway, so you see I did the exact same thing. I just chopped it out, added the dot, and blurred it. It's pretty simple. As you can see, actually, there's a lot of extra stuff at the bottom that I didn't end up using, and that's okay. I'd rather have more than not enough. In the final video, you can just see the scope, and actually down here is a little bit of my flashlight that I have. But that's about it. So in the beginning of the game day, what you're going to do is just hit record on your scope cam, go to like the gun range or whatever, and just hold the gun straight and just shoot. Just shoot like a good 10 shots in a row, holding the gun still. This is for calibration of the overlay, because you see the red dot, you want that red dot to go obviously where the BBs are going, not just somewhere else. It's good just to do a nice calibration, because you see here, if I shoot, the BBs are kind of going, here it's a little bit wobbly to see, but the BBs are going where I am shooting. Of course, it's going to wobble, right? So don't worry about being super precise. And then what you're going to do is just import that footage of the calibration footage from like the beginning of the game day and just put it somewhere on the side or whatever before you even start editing, really. And then just put this file, you see this file right here, which is just the overlay. Put that on top of the scope cam footage, and then what you're going to do is you're just going to take it and just move it. Move it to exactly where it needs to be. You can use the arrows to be more precise. You see how slow it's moving? I'm just holding down the up and down arrow keys right now, and that's it. I just kind of align it to exactly where it is, and then if you see in a future clip when you're editing that's a little bit off, just adjust it from there. You don't really need to be super precise with it. It's just so that it kind of makes sense. Also, another thing that you can add is the Hitmarker effect. See that right there? Whenever the BB hits the person that I'm shooting at, I make sure to add this little Hitmarker. This you can just find online. This is actually Novrich's that I found. What I did is I just aligned the Hitmarker with the sound effect as well. So if you listen, see that tick, that little tick sound, just make sure that it's aligned, obviously. So I just go frame by frame and just make sure that it's actually hit. So it only lasts a few frames, but that's all you need. See, because it needs to be just a little flash. That's it. You have to just kind of scroll through the footage, see wherever the BB hits. So you see, I take a shot, and you can see it traveling toward him. You can actually see the BBs that he's shooting at me as well. And you see, as soon as it hits, I just add that hit marker with the sound effect, which is also just aligned together. And that's it. Only lasts like 4 frames, and then just goes away. This is probably the most time-consuming part because you need to go very detailed and in-depth. I used to add many hit markers. Now I just add pretty much one just for time saving, but it still works, as you see. Anyway, so that's how you can create this awesome looking scope cam footage, which looks professional and fully done. It's not cheap, it's not cheesy. This is how you do it. So let me know if you have any questions. Anyway, that's all from me today. Be sure to like and subscribe, comment if you have any questions or anything like that, and I will see you guys in next video. See ya.